Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn about the life cycle of diploid organisms. So diploid organisms are organisms that have two sets of chromosomes. Remember, we saw this before when we looked at a karyotype of human chromosomes. We saw that there was 46 chromosomes, but there were 23 pairs. So remember, you got one from the pair from your female parent, and you got the other one from the male parent. So if you have chromosomes in pairs like that, you are a diploid organism, and diploid organisms use sexual reproduction. So that means that they make these gametes, which are called egg and sperm, and then the egg and the sperm fuse to form the new organism or the new genetically unique individual. So in this video, we're going to start learning about the differences between mitosis, which we learned about earlier, and meiosis. And then we're going to see which cells are made by the process of meiosis. And then we're going to talk about what does this word mean, haploid, and what does this word mean, diploid. So I mentioned that a human has 46 chromosomes. So this is their diploid number of chromosomes. So remember, how do you make a new human? You've got the sperm from the male, that has 23 chromosomes. You've got the egg from the female, that has 23 chromosomes. The sperm and the egg get together at fertilization, and that produces the first cell of the new organism, which is going to be called the zygote. The zygote is formed by fertilization, and then this cell is going to have 46 chromosomes. So the process of meiosis is the process that makes this 23 chromosome gamete from your 46 chromosome cells. So you have to have the number of chromosomes to put into your gamete. So sperm is a gamete, and egg from female is a gamete, and the two gametes get together to form the zygote. And remember, this zygote is going to be a new genetically unique individual. It's not going to be exactly like the dad. It's not going to be exactly like the mom. It's going to have its own genetically unique combination of chromosomes and genes. So this shows the life cycle of an organism which reproduces by sexual reproduction. So let's take a look at what we have, and here's where we're going to start. So we have these adults, and the adults, it says that they are 2N. So this means that they have two copies of each chromosome. That's what that 2N means. So the female here has 46 chromosomes inside her cells. The male has 46 chromosomes inside his regular body cells. Now, when they want to get together to reproduce, they have to make the gametes. The gametes are going to be the egg and the sperm. So the egg is going to have 23 chromosomes. The sperm is going to have 23 chromosomes. The egg and the sperm get together at fertilization, and that forms the zygote. And notice again that the zygote is back to 2N, which means it has two copies of each chromosome, right? And then that zygote is going to divide by mitosis, make many, many identical copies of itself. And then the cells are going to differentiate, turn into all the different body systems. And then we're going to get the formation of the baby. Then the baby's going to grow up into an adult. And then the adult is going to reproduce again to make the next generation. So the key thing to notice here is when you're an adult, you're 2N. You have two copies of each chromosome. The only time you see the single N by itself, is when you have these gametes. So remember, the egg and the sperm are called gametes, and they have just N. So think about it. N plus N equals 2N, right? So the only time you have these single set of chromosomes, 23 chromosomes, is when you're looking at these gametes. At all other points in the life cycle, in the zygote, you're 2N. In the juvenile, the baby, you're 2N. And in the adult, you're 2N. So the only time you ever use this process called meiosis is to make these special gametes that have half the number of chromosomes that the organism would regularly have. So male and female have 46 chromosomes. The process of meiosis makes gametes, and gametes have half the usual number of chromosomes, right? So if you have 46 usually, your gamete is going to have 23 chromosomes inside. So we refer to this where you have 2 copies of each chromosome as diploid. The prefix di signifies 2. So what you have there is 2 copies of each chromosome. Chromosomes in pairs, right? And then over here, you're creating these special gametes that have 23 chromosomes, half the usual number. You're making the egg and the sperm, and then they get together. 23 plus 23 is 46, and this gives you your new organism, which is again going to be diploid. It's going to have the chromosomes in pairs again. And then you copy your zygote by mitosis repeatedly. So here's what an embryo looks like when it's forming: 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, and so on, until you got this ball of cells, which is going to become the embryo. And then the embryo keeps developing into a fetus. Eventually it's born, and then you've got the baby, and then it's going to grow up to become an adult and have children of its own. So remember, in your life cycle, there's only a very small window where you got haploid cells here, and it's going to be this window where you've got the gametes and they are coming together to make the zygote. All right, so that's just a little bit about the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. So when we return, we're going to learn some of the vocabulary we need to learn about